Welcome back to the Hoops Temple Pod. Y'all know me, Nathan Schwartz. Joining me from New Zealand, Dylan Williamson. Dylan, how's it going?
Very good, thank you. I never noticed how rhythmic you are in your hello. It's right on beat. Right on beat. I just noticed.
It's really nice that we actually have that now in the background of the recording, so I can hear it, and I'm not just putting it in afterwards.
You used to have to line it up. You're carefully moving the music around to to be like bum bum bum. Welcome back.
Exactly. Also, welcome back to a man who is here to apologize to the great city of Orlando, Aaron Schroeder.
Yeah, I am. I'm here to have my apology tour for the Paolo Banchero and the Magic, and really a lot of people should. It was they bottomed out, and the national media, including myself, was a part of that. All really kind of buried them.
Yeah, you said that. I've got it written down here. If the Magic win a single playoff game, I will eat a Magic jersey live on the show. So,
oh, right.
we're all very excited to.
At this point, I can't keep track of the bets I've made.
Are you worried about how the pinstripes are going to taste?
Do I think the ink wouldn't taste as good, but I'd be able to get through the non-dyed portion, possibly.
I mean, do you want to just go for the was it mid-90s, the Stars, the kind of post-Shaq but early Tracy McGrady New Jersey? Is that the one you want to eat?
I will say, because I made honestly, I forget what the bet even was, but I ended up eating a Rockets ticket. What I'd say about that is someone who's eaten unedible things, incredibly difficult. Like paper, you think you'd be like, I could get through paper. You can't get through paper. You humans literally cannot chew paper. That is cows can do that. You need a circular kind of molar motion that humans don't possess because of our hinged jaws. You can't eat paper, and even given 1,000 hours, you could not eat a jersey.
I was gonna say, I've been trying to lose weight, and one of the things I've been doing is eating more protein and whatnot. One of the things that I really do need to eat and been trying to incorporate more into my diet is fiber. Maybe eating paper is just the way to get that fiber.
Just 100 grams of pure fiber. The other thing I need to think about eating is the battery, because Westbrook said he wants to come back to the Kings, and I think we might fucking do it. I think if I made a potato battery and then prove that it functioned, then. But you can't eat raw potatoes. I guess those are not edible either.
Wait,
Can
it still conduct power if it's cooked?
Yeah, I wonder if I could make it, and then if I boiled it, would it defeat the purpose? How
can a baked potato produce energy?
I guess you can eat it, but you can't digest a non-baked potato.
We're way off track. We're
on topic.
We got 8 playoff series to move through today. We've only had one upset thus far, or one game where a lower seed has won, and I say we start there. That is the Orlando Magic beating the Detroit Pistons. Gentlemen, what did you see? What contributed to the Pistons' collapse and the Orlando Magic rise?
I'm going to start with just visually and aesthetically. Guy, I'm going to murder it. And then Yahoo, if you could hear this, the CEO of ESPN is close to building nuclear weapons. The fucking autoplay ads, man. God damn. Okay. What I was going to say before I opened the Magic Pistons scoreboard is the size, in terms of the Pistons had kind of bullied teams throughout the regular season, and they had depth at the center position, and they're a much bigger team. And I feel like Orlando, just as big, if not bigger, and that just was not a really viable thing for the Pistons. And the Magic just blanked Jalen Duren essentially by completely collapsing on everything. Every touch Jalen Duren had in the paint, they were threatening, basically daring every other Pistons player to create offense, or God forbid, hit an open three, which the Pistons were really terrible at outside of Kate Cunningham, essentially. And guys, I'm going to go out on a limb. I think Orlando's going to win this series.
I had that thought, which, before the season began, when we were all making our season previews, if we had predicted that the Magic and the Pistons were going to play each other in round one, I think we would have expected the Magic to be the home team and be the better seed. And then, as Orlando continuously does, they had a year plagued of injuries. They had a coach that didn't look like he knew what he was doing for most of the year, and it kind of all blew up in their face. But I almost made the TikTok video after they lost to Philly, and I was like, listen, this has got to be an offseason where Paolo decides who he wants to be, because he came in with the Blake Griffin meets Carmelo Anthony, and he hasn't had the ball handling of either of them. He's had the passing of Carmelo, and he's had the offensive game, the mid-range
Shooting
touch
of
of Blake Griffin. Yeah, he got the worst of the two. And he has to decide who he wants to be. And he decided that he wanted to be a fucking baller this game. He took it to Tobias Harris. Tobias was getting Philadelphia flashbacks of just being an absolute no-show. Ron Holland and Asar Thompson, neither of them could dribble an attack with any sort of playing purpose. And then you're right, yeah. Jalen Duren looked like Jalen Duren of 2 years ago. Like not even just last season, but a true regression. And this was my most improved. This is a guy I put up for All NBA. I'm gonna throw my cat out of the room in just a minute because it keeps meowing. But no, like it was an absolute collapse of everyone but Cade. And it was kind of the greatest fear when Cade got hurt, was like, oh no, the Pistons are gonna be dead in the water because no one else can create. And then they played fine for a couple of regular season games. Cade came back and it was like, cool, we figured some stuff out. No, they didn't. They fully reverted back to Cade save us. And it was ugly to watch.
Before they went out and had all the success this season, on paper, this is not a team that is necessarily built to be a regular season or playoff juggernaut. Like, they've got a shooting guard who is a massive hole defensively, just a open wound that the opponents can pick. They've got their small forward is Tobias Harris. I mean, he's a fringe starter at best. And then at the 4, they've got a guy who can't shoot, paired with another center who can't shoot. And so it's this sort of strange roster where, in theory, this shouldn't work. And they found a way to be incredibly successful. And, bringing off the bench, even like Ron Holland, you bring him in, another guy who can't shoot. They threw Javonte Green out there for 4 minutes, and Karis LeVert, who's washed, they threw him in there for 4 minutes. Just this team that, in theory, shouldn't work, and we sort of saw the holes of it. Like Aaron said, Jalen Duren was totally taken out of the game by having, teams sort of discovered that actually you can just pack the paint because there's no one on this team that can shoot outside of, they've got one guy on the floor at any time who can shoot, plus Tobias Harris.
And Orlando did a great job of pressuring ball handlers, because really outside of Cade, Detroit doesn't have a lot of guys who are ball handlers, or who can make a play with the ball, who can bring it up the court. And so it was kind of almost not a box and one in the fact that they're shading in Cade, but it was, we're going to take the paint with the 4 guys. We're going to have 2 on each block. We're going to have 2 at about the free throw line. And whoever is the odd man out, like a 1-2-2 zone, is going to put a ton of pressure on whoever has the ball, and then kind of drop back into that effectively. And I still believe Detroit will figure out ways to crack this. I have seen Orlando look like an absolute shit show for months of the season at a time, and so I got to imagine that they'll bounce back to that. But Detroit's got to figure out a way to slow down Paolo, because they looked really small defending him on the wing.
On August 18th, 2020, Nikola Vucevic had 35 points, and the team hit 16 threes, and the 8-seeded Magic beat the 1-seeded Bucks in round 1. And they had a true shooting as a team of 63%. And it took like a special offensive performance to get that win. And it's like, oh, look at Orlando. They had 45 wins. Like that happened. That team did, but this team does. But I didn't feel like Orlando got that offensive performance. It wasn't like, wow, like what a hot shooting night.
Mm-hmm.
check out Orlando. Like, could they replicate that? They shot 29% from three. They had 19 free throws to Detroit's 38. They did not get a great offensive game. They just had personnel that matched up better, which is horrifying. And it's part of why I'm like completely flipping this around. And I think Orlando actually figures out a way to win this series, because looking at Detroit's roster, now that we're geniuses and we've seen one game pass, we understand how everything's going to go. I think Detroit has a lot of really good players, but most of them are only good at one side of the ball. And you kind of need guys to be good at two, but at least half good at both sides. Because if you need offense, now you're relying on Kevin Huerter minutes, and he's not good. And it's like, okay, well, now we need to play defense, and you're flipping for Ausar Thompson, who only plays defense. And you're kind of going back and forth, where the Pistons have lineups that are bad defensively and lineups that are bad offensively, and they can't really find an in-between on that.
Is this just like the ultimate stock dropping in the Thompson twins? Because between Ausar's like pitiful performance and then Amen failing to do much of anything against the Lakers, like these guys were supposed to be not stars, but I mean, I think people were thinking Amen was going to grow into an all-star. Ausar had this great year that's getting him all defensive buzz, and just what a pitiful game one from both of those guys.
Hey, more than all defensive buzz, he was a Depoy finalist. That came out today. He was third. And I think he was pretty close to that on our all defensive teams. But yeah, I could say the stock kind of bottomed out. But maybe we knew that, just because if you describe someone like, all right, where is the defender going to be on Amen Thompson? It's all right, it's going to be a center, and they're going to be underneath the basket, because you don't have to guard them from really anywhere. And that's playoffs are about your flaws more than your strengths, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I thought, the first upset for Orlando was beating the Hornets, and the way that they did that was they just decided to play it a lot harder and more physical, and that totally overwhelmed the Hornets, and that's why they're even in the playoffs. And then they've sort of carried that through to this Detroit Pistons series, where the Pistons are supposed to be the tough team that outplays you, plays harder, plays more physical, and like that's how they've succeeded this whole season. But Orlando's going sort of Zebo style, bullies get bullied in my hood, and played way more physical than Detroit did. I do think, though, that is maybe reason for hope for Detroit, is that being outplayed physically and going up against a team that just seemed more locked in, that is something that you can fix. Especially I think the Pistons looked a little casual when they need to not underestimate their opponents and, realize that the way that they succeeded the whole season is by playing harder than everyone else and get back into that. Jalen Duren was the biggest struggle for this game. And I think that there are ways that he can adapt to have an impact. He basically just did nothing around the rim on really either end. Didn't get on the glass, didn't contest shots inside on defense, when that's been the big step forward for him this year, is figuring out how to position himself as a good defensive player. And Wendell Carter hit 1 from 2 3-pointers, and he's like, oh, well, I guess I should just never contest at the rim. Got to get out and guard Wendell Carter.
Great point.
Aaron, I do just want to congratulate you on your early lead in the playoff wins draft.
Thank
your
you.
teams that you've selected, the Spurs, Lakers, Timberwolves, Hornets, Magic, and Suns, counting the play-in round, have combined for 5 wins.
Wow. Look at that. I'm glad we did that a little early.
Yeah.
That's why you bet on the Orlando Magic.
Mm-hmm. I never had a doubt personally. I've always felt like Orlando was a great team and they were well built. I think I had them like 52 wins heading into this season, and it's kind of been a nightmare, but they're here and they are healthy. That's been a thing that's haunted them throughout this season, as Franz has been out and Paulo's missed time, Anthony Black has missed time. And so it's not like they had their entire team and it just sucked the entire time. It just they have their whole roster going forward.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are recording this in the middle of some of the Monday night games, so we're going to try to save those series is a bit, although some of those are really good matchups. But I want to shift us from the one Thompson twin to the other, the Lakers versus Rockets. I don't want to steal another person's joke that saying calling it a rock fight would be an insult to rock fights, but um, what a disappointing matchup. What could have been, LeBron versus Durant for potentially the final time ends up not having Durant. We already knew Luka and Reeves were going to be sidelined. Uh, what tactical adjustments do you guys see that Houston needs to make to get back in this, assuming Durant is either there or not?
I think you, and a way to answer your question, get Kevin Durant back. If not, get swept. Because I don't feel like it was awful. It was the worst offense, and I felt really bad because I went from watching Minnesota and Denver, who were awesome, and they went head to head with each other, and they were clicking. And then that game came on, and I was like, these players are bad, these teams are bad, and they should feel bad about what's going on. The Lakers put out one of the worst rosters and lineups I've ever seen on a playoff floor. I mean, legitimately horrendous. And also, LeBron was really good. At his age, be able to control the pace and rack up assists like he did. He was the best player on the floor, and that's so impressive. I can't believe some of the names that were out there and playing well for the Lakers. And for Houston, go ahead, guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, there was a moment where it was LeBron, Smart, Jared Vanderbilt, Rui, and DeAndre Ayton. And they were just playing their asses off. And they were hustling and moving. And I was like, is this like 2020 Marcus Smart? Is this like 2022 Rui? Is this the finals DeAndre Ayton? And I forget who Houston had out, but I remember just looking across the court and being like, oh no, this is just like the Houston C team out there. But, the Marcus Smart experience is up and down. There are moments, and there have always been moments with Marcus Smart where he does way too much and ends up just chaotically blowing up in his face. But then there are moments where he does too much, but it works. And that was a game where he did too much and it worked. And I don't know who the hell was supposed to be guarding in Luke Kennard because it seemed like he was getting open all the time. Houston's got to pick a lane. Like, if you're not going to have Durant, you could at least play Tari Eason more and really just try to lock people down defensively. And then, I don't know, it just didn't seem like they ever figured out the right defense-offense balance.
I don't want any commentary outside of your answer. What team is Kevin Durant playing for next season?
Is he still under contract?
Yes. Where is he getting traded? Because there's just no chance. Because this is going to go belly up and he's going to get traded. I won't get too distracted into the offseason. I thought it was horrendous. I thought it really was bad for Houston. Here's my stat. They took 34% of their shots around the rim. Houston did, which is great. 9% more than the Lakers, which is really what you want. But they shot 45% on those shots in the 4th percentile. It's just they had no offensive value without Durant. Like they simply could not score. Şengün 6 of 19 shooting. I never felt like he got the ball in the right places. I could lament it on and on. It was bad.
And Nate, you talk about the time machine being activated for these Lakers players, bringing them back from their primes. Even the play style, it's like JJ took the time machine to like figure out a play style. Like they were like going back to the 80s. They were dumping it to LeBron at the high post. They were running shit off ball for like a spot up mid range. Mm-hmm. Like they played such a absolutely basic sort of old school style, and that somehow was enough to beat a really good defense.
111 offensive rating in the half court. Lakers did.
Damn. This is gonna, sound silly to say, but I'm really enjoying this version of LeBron. And like I've not always been a LeBron stan. I was a basketball fan before LeBron came into the league. And to me, he was always kind of like that young kid encroaching on the stars that I love's turf, and the stars that I loved aged out, and it fully became LeBron's league. And I'm like, this guy. I've always been a little reluctant to embrace LeBron, but the style of play he's found the second half of the year, where he is just fully into picking his spots offensively, but then moving it and hustling and diving has been really fun to watch. And I think almost if you're Houston, the strategy has to just bait LeBron into trying to score 50, trying to get him out of that mindset. You put Reed Shepherd on him and say, all right, LeBron, listen, we're going to guard everyone else tough. Do you have the juice to continue to just go into the post against Reed Shepherd time and time again? Just fully rope-a-dope him, try to tire him out.
That's genius, Nate. Honestly, because if LeBron is good enough to facilitate an offense that is elite with these names, just you have to make him beat you at that point. That's just
make him not pass.
Yeah.
Listen,
I wanted to note. Go ahead.
The Portland Trailblazers owner came out and said he's only willing to pay $1.5 million for a coach next year. Thiago Splinter may or may not be willing to take that. So I'm trying to throw my hat in the ring.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, Nate. At that salary, you might be the only option. Like, assistant coaches get paid more than that. You might be the only person throwing your head in the ring.
I'm just saying. I'll do a lot less for a lot more, or do more for less. But yeah, if you let me be an NBA coach for $1.5 million, yeah. It's your funeral. It's your, there are better people than me on this job market, but I'll do it.
Doug Christie's making $2 million, which is the only reason we even hired him is because he was cheap.
Because he was the cheapest possible coach.
By far the cheapest. We knew we were going to suck and we had to cut costs somehow. So $500,000 under that? Who's fucking doing that?
Sorry, he's going for 0.5 up to 1.5 million.
Oh my god. that's not
Mate, this
not
this
viable.
Is your shot.
I think we might be able to do this.
He did not fly the two-way players to the game in San Antonio. This is technically more bench spots, and that would cost them some money. Apparently he is just incredibly cheap.
He didn't want to pay for the hotel for these guys who won them games in the regular season.
Yeah. Dylan, any thoughts on what Houston can do to even back up the series?
Like there's always the adjustment of just playing better. It is sort of an awkward matchup though, where like there are all these flawed players, but their flaws kind of like, or their very few strengths line up incredibly well for the Lakers. Like DeAndre Ayton has so many flaws, but the one thing he's kind of good at is like just guarding one-on-one in the post, which is like is the nightmare of pure Şengün. Is like, this guy can do one thing and it's the only thing that I want to do. How about, I feel like the entire game watching this, Ime Udoka never went to this. How about the guy that's going to make all defense? Maybe you put him on the opposing team's best player. Can we see Amen try to guard LeBron? Maybe that can help. If he's pressuring up on a 40-year-old, maybe that can help take away the one good player that they've got.
Nah, it's not going to work. That guy couldn't even guard Luke Kennard.
I know, that's the problem. They had him guarding Luke Kennard as their best on-ball player and only good help defender, and then he's freaking getting lost all the time. Luke Kennard is able to lead the game in scoring. Do you think that the Lakers will continue to shoot over 70% on mid-range jump shots? Part of how they were able to succeed so much in this game is they just took a lot of shots in the sort of in-between area and made them. So maybe part of the adjustment for Houston is just keep doing what you're doing, and Marcus Smart and DeAndre Ayton and Rui will eventually not make all of these spot-up mid-range jump shots that LeBron's feeding them.
there was a wide open catch and shoot corner 3 from Jared Vanderbilt, or maybe it was a free throw line extended 3. It was uh, he hit it, and I was like, oh shit, we're winning this. Like, Vando hits his shots. The Vanderbilt has been such a good defensive player for the Lakers over the last several years, but he doesn't hit enough shots to be on the floor unless he's chasing around like Steph Curry or someone. But if he's going to hit your threes, like, it opens up so much for the team. So, I think it really just is who gets healthy first.
I want to cover some stats really quickly. I feel like we've kind of like glossed over the statistical anomaly that this game was. So the Lakers shot, like Dylan mentioned, 60% on mid-range jumpers in the 100th percentile. Houston took 93 shots. The Lakers just 66 shots. Houston grabbed 18 more offensive rebounds and had just as many free throws. The Lakers only were 10 of 9. They only took 19 threes. In a million universes, that Houston just wins that game. This is the first playoff game since 2014 where a team even attempted less than 70 shots while their opponent attempted more than 90, and they won. There's only been 23 of those playoff games in league history.
Damn. Good numbers. So you're saying the Lakers are going to sweep this series?
I think they're going to sweep Houston. I genuinely believe that. I think they're going to win next game. If Durant doesn't cut there, the Lakers will win every game with no Durant and every game with Durant and with Luka or Reeves.
Fair enough. All right. Well, because of the games that are ongoing right now in the Raptors, Cavs, Knicks, Hawks, and then will be soon after we record this, Nuggets, Timberwolves, which of the blowout games do you guys want to talk about first? Any of the particular?
How about you give us your insights into your future job in Portland?
Yeah, I thought Portland.
We got to see the best playoff debut in NBA history.
I thought it was fantastic what Portland did, and I really want to shout out Scoot Henderson and for always being ready. He hit a number of open shots. He attacked the paint really well, and there was a lot of times throughout the first 3 quarters where it looked like San Antonio was going to really crack the game open, where they'd get up by like 6 to 8, and the crowd would swell, and it would be, they would have the momentum. And then Portland would dig deep. And a lot of times, just having the veteran presence guys out there. Drew Holiday came in and settled down after Castle hit a big 3. And, he pushed it up, slowed it down, set everyone up, hit the shot, quieted the crowd down. Jeremy Grant had a few good moments. And it's where San Antonio was starting to go. And he calmed everyone down. And then, of course, Denny Avdia did play very well. But I thought it was impressive all around from the Portland players to show the resiliency to kind of make it through. And for the San Antonio Spurs, way more talented, but some of the young guys looked a little bit shaky. Castle was a bit jumpy at times. Harper off the bench, it's a little bit not erratic, but just not quite the level of calm collectiveness that I've seen him play with over the regular season. And it's good that San Antonio got this kind of matchup where they can feel out some of the bumps and adjust to the playoffs, I think, for them. Because, if they played more veteran team, if they had maybe fallen down to the 2 or to the 3, which I know was not anywhere near happening from the records, but if they had to play a Minnesota team that's been here before, I think that would have been much harder for them to do.
Go ahead, Don.
Sorry, before we move on to continue with the big picture, I just want to briefly note on what you said about Scoot. One of my favorite things, which I've discussed before, is when a player comes into the league, they're supposed to fill a certain role, and then they discover that their skills just do not translate. So Scoot was supposed to be this guy who was going to be an elite ball handler, was going to be able to get downhill, get to the rim, put pressure on the defense, kick to open shooters, and just finish around the rim and just be too much to handle. And he got to the NBA and discovered these guys are way more athletic than who I've been playing against. I don't have the speed advantage. These guys, there's always a really athletic 7-footer standing under the basket. I cannot finish over them or around them. And so, when players are faced with that realization, they've got two choices: either beat their head against the wall and hope that they eventually break through, and then you're out of the league in 4 years, or you reinvent yourself and try to find ways to contribute. And so what Scoot has done is, well, focused on, as you said, Nate, knocking down open shots, being a supplemental ball handler, and also I thought his defense was really good this season, and had moments of in this game, despite being a guy who should be a defensive liability. And so I just wanted to briefly shout out Scoot for doing the right thing, being a valuable player, probably the only Blazer that played well outside of Denny, and has reinvented himself and had a wonderful season also.
You guys are really trying to get Nate this Portland job on. I can't fucking believe we're leading with the positives on Portland. You guys are great. No, that's why I adore both of you and your endless joyous attitude.
I mean, here's the thing. I saw someone tweet this, and he's like, "Yep, never has a team come back from a 1-0 deficit." And it was like a very sarcastic thing, but like so often we'll watch game one of a playoff series, be like, "Oh my god, that's what happened, and that's what's going to happen." But then these teams walk away, they adjust, even if they go down 2-0. I mean, how many times have we seen a team go down 2-0, and then game 5 happens and it's tied 2-2 because you go back to your home court, you figure things out. And I don't know that Portland's necessarily going to do that, but I thought they could have. I thought the Portland game could have ended up looking a lot like the Phoenix OKC game. And I'm not going to lie, I didn't watch the second half of the Phoenix OKC game because I have better things to do with my time than watch a game that's not going to, the best thing about basketball games is it starts 0-0. So it's close for at least the first few minutes. And Phoenix started up 5-0. And it was still like a just blowout by the end of the first. And I don't know. I have other things I'd rather do if it's going to be that much of a trouncing. And Portland kept things close, kept things interesting.
It was interesting. I think San Antonio, they ended the first up by 9, and then essentially kind of held them at a Wemby's arm's length throughout the rest of the game. It got kind of interesting at times, but I feel like the Spurs were never in real danger. I do want to mention unanimous Defensive Player of the Year. Victor Wembanyama won that earlier today. And when you have the unanimous D point in your team playing an 8th seed, I think Portland is good. They play good defense, but they have one scorer, and that guy is reliant on drives to the basket. And there's unanimous D play standing down there. And so I don't see a way Portland, maybe they win one game, but it's going to be a pretty easy series. I have a question for both of you. What percent of the time does the NBA team win the series after leading 1-0?
I would still guess it's very high. I'd guess this close to 80%.
Dylan, think of a number.
Well, that's gonna include a lot of 1-8, 2-7 matchups where it's like 90% wins. And so I would say probably like I think I'll do 75 just to be different from Nate.
You guys are fantastic. 78%. Very nice. Well done. So it still is a pretty, and not saying there's obviously context beyond just the 1-0, but I'd say it has a pretty large swing. I'll say the round in which this is interesting. It matters the most. So it goes conference finals at 78%, semifinals 73%, first round 80%. So there's kind of an up and down thing going there.
That's interesting. I would assume that maybe the first round is just bolstered by the number of 1-8 series. And I wonder if maybe there's some historical things where you would have buys in the first, and so your first round ends up being more like 3-6s, and then the semis got more difficult. I don't know. I have to look more into the statistics, but I think that's Yeah, San Antonio's going to win. If we want to pivot to OKC, Phoenix is going to get trounced. I don't think they're going to get a single game here. I've got much less nice things to say about Phoenix. They're really hurting size wise. Is out there. Mark Williams is not the greatest center in the playoffs, but at least with him out there, he can bang with Isaiah Hartenstein for a little bit. Having him out there also gives them the option to do Mark and Oso and kind of have more size. And I think Oso is just undersized to really be the team's true starting center. And I mean, they were just waxed so early and it seemed like they couldn't get a rebound. And the guard pressure was just way beyond anything that Phoenix was ready for. And I don't see any hope for Phoenix.
OKC is good against bad teams, which is great that they get to play one in round one. And they'll win all 4 games.
And it's truly brutal that Shea didn't even have his best game. Like, he had a poor shooting performance from the field. And it still didn't even matter. OKC is just so dominant that your best player can shoot whatever it was, 7 for 23 or whatever it was. And they still win easily. Phoenix had a half-court offensive rating of 62.
God damn. That's not good, guys. That's not good. I do feel like Devin Booker
and also played 91% of their possessions in the half court.
That's right.
Any transition and couldn't score.
They had 2 fast break points, and we're seeing that in the box score. I think Devin Booker is bad. Not that he's bad, but I ranking the players early before the season, I still kind of was like, oh, Devin Booker is like that kind of A+ tier shot maker. He could still be that. I don't think he can anymore. I think that was more like a 5 years ago thing, or a 3-4 years ago thing, where now it just feels like in the playoff games that I've seen, even just a pretty good defensive player or some physicality, like he needs 17 screens to get a good look. And I feel kind of equally comfortable on him and Dylan Brooks creating offense.
Yeah, and this is an especially difficult matchup for him because he's got, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, who was excellent, Cason Wallace, Alex Caruso. Like, there's no reprieve for this guy. He's never got a matchup where he's got an advantage.
Right. I'm not going to be mad at him. I'm not going to say he's a bad player. Go ahead, Nate.
Do you remember a couple of offseason back where, there was a leaked video of him in an open run at a gym where he's, basically started complaining that the guys were double teaming him?
Yeah, Joakim Noah brought a double in the open gym.
Yeah. Maybe you should practice against doubles. Like
he should practice against doubles, yeah.
Booker, you are your team's best player. If the other team is not double teaming you in the playoffs, what is the other team even doing? You don't get to play Washington, and they're, it's not going to be a Bam Adebayo situation. You're not going to be single coverage as you're on a heater. Like, you got to be practiced and prepared for it. And I had Devin Booker as my third team All-NBA because I was just like, I need someone. It was before we knew Cade was eligible and Luke was eligible and all these guys were eligible. Technically, Booker was actually declared ineligible despite playing 65 games because he didn't hit the 20 minutes per game threshold for all.
Kill Adam Silver. Benjamin Netanyahu, if you can hear this.
Yeah. But so, I feel like my Devin Booker stock has taken a sharp fall in the last week because he was terrible in most of the play-in games. And it was the Jalen Green show. What do you mean it's the fucking Jalen Green show? Jalen Green is not good. And yet he was the better player for the last week for Phoenix. And that's a frustrating place to be. I did mean to ask you guys, now that Cade has been declared eligible for All-NBA, who are you bumping off your All-NBAs for Cade? And where are you putting Cade?
I refuse to participate. Sorry, I'll take a look. I'm just so angry about that. It was like after the season, they're like, yeah, we'll take a look at it. Like it wasn't like, hey, we should just fucking figure this out. Just ridiculous.
At least now we know the 65 game rule is not actually a hard cap; it's a soft cap. It's there's a mid-level exception eligible for the 65 games. It's you got to play 65 games unless you don't have to.
I just don't think Adam Silver talks to people and knows other people, because there's no way that he said that to somebody and they weren't like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. There's no way they didn't say that, because that's so fucking stupid. Like, hey, Adam, so we're gonna have 65 games. Also, anybody, every single NBA player that's ever played, that ever plays 60 games is gonna send you an appeal you have to look at. You want to look at 100 of those? Do you want to talk to 100 agents about that? You go through 100 of those appeal processes. Oh my god! Like, what is happening? But did that happen last year? Is it a new thing this year?
No,
yeah, I don't remember the
there.
appeals last year.
And it was put there specifically for like having a really big injury that caused you to miss this. Because it was like, hey, you're on pace and you get injured and that knocks you off pace. You can then appeal it. And I'm like, well, fuck, everyone's on pace till they get injured.
What's the point? Yeah. That's so stupid. I'll say Derek White gets kicked off on my third team. Yeah, I'll give you an answer.
The casuals in your TikTok comments will appreciate that one. They couldn't stand to see a guy only averaging 19 points make All NBA.
It was unbelievable. I did like the second swarm of comments I got of like, where is Cade Cunningham? Like, no Cade is unbelievable. It's like, come on, guys. Like, you don't think I had him on any of the All NBA teams? I didn't know he was eligible yet.
Yeah, it's a farce. And it also sets this bar of like, hey, all you have to do is hit 65 games and then you can make it. And so there is no real incentive. I think the whole NBA, every NBA stat that is publicly available should be transitioned away from per games and back to totals.
I've said I agree with this for a long time. I think there should be like the scoring title race should be, oh, this person has 2,000 points. Can they get to 2,500 or however many points that I don't even really know a high season total, but go ahead.
Isn't that how they do it? Isn't the point and rebound and whatever awards like they give out that's per game?
Averages. It's all averages.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so Luka's like, when he wins the scoring title, it's just so stupid. It can say, oh, Luka, he averages 33 in February. Let's say hypothetically he misses all of March. And then he comes back, he's like, no, I'm still like the scoring leader, like averages. It's like, maybe we wouldn't find the best scorer.
Would you rather Tyrese Maxey won it?
I think I would rather be like, hey, this guy scored the most points. He grabbed the most rebounds. Like that's a thing. It just allows fans to also keep track of that. It's like, hey, this guy is 15 rebounds away from winning the scoring title or having the most rebounds. Like, let's pay attention to that instead of being like, oh, if he averages 20 rebounds and I check Basketball Reference in the fucking morning, maybe I'll see if he averages the most now. It's just so stupid.
Yeah, no, I am all for this. And I think that we should also do this with more advanced stats. It's one of the things that I really like about win shares, which is a very flawed stat for a number of reasons, but it's cumulative. The more you play, the more it matters. You talk about like box plus minus or estimated box plus minus or things like that. It's all in these per 100 bases where I'm like, not even playing minutes matters anymore. Like you could go out there for 25 minutes and be awesome and then be off the court for the other 23. And
that's what we call the Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Be the best player on the court for 24 minutes a game and then foul out.
I want to give a shout out to Dave Bing, the last scoring title winner to rely on totals. 1968, 2,142 points.
I would like to give a shout out to DeMar DeRozan, who gets one of the Joel Embiid scoring titles if it was by points and not per games.
That's
Top
not
10 all-time score.
What we're suggesting right now. That's not a good idea.
All right.
Better though. Go on.
Well, speaking of Embiid, the other blowout series, Boston versus Philly. Guys, Tatum's really good at basketball and looks pretty much fully healthy. And the guard pressure from Boston really troubled Philly. I think the best chance for Philly to get a game in this series is to just have the VJ Edge come game. Like if he drops 35, that's what it's going to take because he's kind of a little bit of the forgotten man. It's either going to be him or a Kelly Olynyk game, and I just don't trust Kelly. Or not Kelly Olynyk, Oubre.
I think
Yeah.
I think I've got the actual solution, the only way that the Philadelphia 76ers can win. They've got they could have a fair amount of cap space going into next season. And so I think they need to go to John Tonje and be like, hey, buddy, $20 million waiting for you. I need you to sow some dissent. And he goes in there. John Tonje is in the locker room and he goes up to Jason Tatum and he's like, man, can you believe Jaylen Brown has taken this team? It's now his team. Can't believe that he would do this to you. And then he goes to Jaylen Brown and he's like, you know, this has been your team all season. And now Jason Tatum comes back and he wants everything to revolve around him. I think that's the only way that the Sixers are going to be able to win is by pitting Tatum versus Brown.
Some infighting.
I think the only problem with that is that Joe Mazzulla overhears it and just gets right close. He's like, this is my team.
That's a good point.
That's a good Missoula stare.
I don't know if he's ever blinked in his life.
It really doesn't. It really doesn't. I have a serious question. What do you think? How much do you think Andre Drummond weighs right now? What do you think he's walking around at?
You know, here's the thing.
He is the biggest player I've ever seen. I mean, genuinely, I think he's like over 300 pounds. Basketball Reference says he's 280. His mock draft said he was 275. So he came in the league at 275. Looking at some pictures, he's in some real slim suits. No way 15 pounds separates him then and him now. I think he's actually over 300 pounds. And it's not not in a negative way necessarily, because it's just part of why he's still one of the best rebounders in the league on a permanent basis. He's just gigantic.
So this is in part why like the Pistons falling apart to the Magic hurt so much and looked so bad, because Jalen Duren is athletic, is built, is like Andre Drummond 2.0, or like better, bigger, better, stronger. We just saw Drummond punk Orlando and then kind of get pushed around by Boston. Like there were times where he was out there and wasn't, being nearly aggressive enough. And it's just like, what are the levels to these things? Why is he not able to attack Boston the same way he was able to attack Orlando? And was Orlando just rope-a-doping us? Did Orlando just say, we don't want to play Boston? We're just going to throw this game as hard as we possibly can? Like, Drummond should not look that good against a team and then this bad against Boston.
There's no way Jamal Mosley got that close to being fired. Because it was really bad. I thought they were going to fire him like before the play-in started. There was a mutiny. Orlando.
The first coach to be fired between the regular season and the playoffs.
It's he's doing like the Budenholzer, where the next game, like, all right, he's gonna get fired if this next game goes poorly, and then they just turn it on and win a bunch of games. Like, oh shit, Mike Budenholzer, here's 3 more years. Day. Essentially, guys. So Andre Drummond, the all-time leader in total rebounds per 100 possessions of players to play at least 500 career games. Who's second on that list? And you both know him. He's played within the last 10 years.
Sorry, what are we guessing?
Second most per 100 rebounds in NBA history. A player that's played in the last 10 seasons, and he's second to Andre Drummond.
Victor Wembanyama.
No.
It's like Boban?
This player played from 2011 to 2022. At some point, he played for my Kings.
Well, that could be anybody.
Won a block title.
Oh, Hassan Whiteside.
Hassan Whiteside. Yeah,
Mm.
number 2 all time in total rebounds per 100.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. The big boys do get rebounds. That is a thing that size will grant you. All right. Anything you guys can see that will help get Philly actually back in the series or get 2 games, 2 victories?
Joel Embiid. Got to get Embiid out there. It changed the entire dynamic. Because Boston, well, we've said so many good things about their centers. They still wouldn't have great ones in comparison to a really good Joel Embiid game. He changes the entire dynamic, makes everything so much easier.
Can I just shit on Andre Drummond once more quickly before we move off?
Sure.
Counting play, if we count, playing for multiple teams in the same season is a different sort of, iteration, if we will. Andre Drummond has had 17 teams that he's played on, or 17 seasons, shall we say? Out of those 17, there have been 4 where his team was both an average or better defensive rebounding team and also not worse with him on the floor. So he is grabbing every rebound, and if he doesn't get it, the other team is getting it.
He's not a box out guy. He doesn't box out, but he's just always he's in the right position for himself. It's like
he is chasing, but he is not controlling. And so whenever people bring up elite rebounder Andre Drummond, no. 4 out of 17 seasons where his team was both above average and not worse for them on the floor.
The inverse of Steven Adams.
The inverse of Steven Adams. He is the empty stats of defensive rebounding.
All right. Well, that brings us to the end of 5 game ones. Let's move into Cavs Raptors, which I've been. I don't know if you've seen the reflections. I've been watching game 2 over here. Kind of a merciless smackdown. Aaron, I know you have a lot of Cavs Raptors thoughts. I'll let you start.
Oh, sure. I think heading into the playoffs, you look at Toronto and you're like, wonder what they're going to struggle with. Like, what's going to be the problem for this team that's kind of surprised us? How are they going to fare in the playoffs? And it's like, oh, they're going to really struggle to score the basketball. I have no idea. Like, when I close my eyes and try to imagine Scotty Barnes creating an advantage on an offensive possession, I black out. I have no idea what that looks like. And they had some nice Ingram moments. He hit some tough jumpers, but the Toronto just has to work so hard for all of their buckets. Donovan Mitchell might be the best scorer in the league, and he really might have that title. Just effortless getting his buckets come playoff time. And he's doing it again currently as we speak. What's he up to right now?
19.
I'll date this. 19 points in him and Harden. I think it's the big thing. Honestly, a difference. I've been a compliment playoff Harden, which is so scary. It's going to age so poorly. I know it will. Donovan Mitchell sits. The offense keeps just humming at this insane level. I don't think if Toronto gets quickly back, they'll have enough offensive firepower to maybe win a game. If they don't get quickly back, I don't think they can win a single one of these games. It really was that concerning because the Raptors got a good shooting performance. Jamal Shed hit 5 threes. That was a season high. Like, they were hitting their threes. If Scotty Barnes had 3 threes in the first, it should have been a good offensive game for Toronto. It wasn't close to enough to win that game, though.
I was texting with friend of the pod, Milk Lover, or the government assigned Goth, our favorite Goth Raptors fan, and we were talking about how bad Pirtle looked and just how easily the Cavs were scoring inside, but the Raptors don't really have another big to try to counter this, and their best way to counter it is to go small. And from what I've been seeing in game 2, Pirtle has not played much. Pirtle is down in just 9 minutes halfway through. Murray Boyles is starting the second half, and the Raptors are trying to push the pace a little bit more. And I think that is the right call. That is the necessary play to say, we're going to give up size inside, but we can be switchable 1 through 5 now, and we can try our best to run off of makes. And I think that's a thing. When Harden drives and Harden throws those high lobs to Jared Allen, when that lob goes up, you just have to know it's going in, and you have to almost start running because, no one on Toronto is contesting that. As soon as that lob is thrown, Three guys got to run. Someone's got to take the ball out of bounds and push the tempo. And that's really the only way the Raptors can try to play this. I also think defensively, Shed on Harden, bad matchup. Harden, Shed had a foul reviewed for a flagrant in the third, and it was really him just trying to fight and get around Harden, and Harden basically just standing there. It'd be like me versus Shaq. like I can try, I can shove and push, and just like it was zero impact. And so I think they got to play around with some matchups. I think they have to try to switch up personnel and really just concede certain areas and try to push what few advantages they have. And if they can get the home games, I still believe in Raptors in 7 from
Jesus.
Harden will fall apart. You just
Holy
have to
shit.
force the series deep.
That was so fucking bleak, man. The idea, like, suggesting a Vivek Ranadive-esque cherry-picking tactic. As the lob goes up, you must completely give up defensively and start running a fast break. It's like, yes, we're going to give 2 points. Maybe we'll get 2 points on the other end. If the Raptors win a game, I'd be just unbelievably shocked. They don't have enough offense. They cannot say you're going up against a team with size and rim protection and Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. Like the Cavs are going to walk into 130 offensive rating during their minutes and are still going to be able to hold them defensively.
Sure, in games 1 through 4. But if you can get this to
They're
games,
going to win all of those 4. That's all they need. There is no game 5. This series is done. That was just one of those games where it's like, yep, these teams are galaxies apart.
Nah. Raptors in 7. Just have to get there.
I'm not easily swayed. I've only predicted 2 sweeps and an 8 seed beating a 1 seed after one game.
Where's your faith? Have a little gumption, a little, backbone.
Just a bad matchup. And Toronto played well. They shot well. Like, they had a good game, and they got fucking demolished.
Oh, they didn't shoot that well.
They shot like 50% from 3. They did shoot well. They did.
Yeah. They shot 48% from 3. All right.
48%.
I've watched a lot of basketball. Their games are starting to blend together.
They really do.
All right. Knicks Hawks, a series which is also playing game 2 right now, where, to date the pod, at near the end of the first Knicks are already up by 10. Brunson only 3 points after absolutely torching Atlanta in the first game. My big takeaway, or my big tactical change was just you got to figure out a way to stop Jalen Brunson. And, that's got to be a lock-in from Dyson Daniels all over him, maybe even putting Nickeil Alexander-Walker on him more, or to try to have a bit more size. But whatever they're doing seems to be limiting him today and not limiting the Knicks offense.
We should date the pod even more. We should put guesses in. What do you think they're doing to Jalen Brunson? Ooh, maybe they're doing something interesting. That'd be so cool. I felt like with Atlanta, the issues that we kind of expected were pretty present. Their lack of shooting from their best player, because they run like Jalen Johnson, Dyson Daniels screens, and you could go to under those as far as you want. Nothing, no harm will come to you. CJ McCollum as your kind of go-to guy is a little scary. And then the Hawks have, genuinely 0 bench players. Not a single soul on the bench. Right now, Kuminga, is it Gay? Is it pronounced Gay? Mohamed Gay?
Mm-hmm.
Tony Bradley, and then Mo Gay, and then Gabe Vincent is just, you can't win a playoff series with that.
I love the 2 minutes from Zachary Rizachet in game 1. Went out there, missed 3 layups, got pulled.
That was bad, man.
I love the fact that, at the start of the year, there was a lot of talk of, hey, the Hawks have decent players, but they don't really have a bench that we trust in the playoffs. And then they blow up their roster. They trade away Trae Young. They make a bunch of moves. And they somehow sell off players that could have really helped. Luke Kennard for Gabe Vincent. You think Luke Kennard could have helped them in that game? Or do you think Luke Kennard's just just in the perfect series where he gets to torch all NBA level defenders.
I mean, the Knicks gave up plenty of threes.
Just saying. Like Luke Kennard, Vic Krejci, they had shooters. They have Buddy Hield on the roster. They have Corey Kispert. These guys are really getting fewer
Don't
minutes.
do it. Don't do it, guys. Don't listen to them. Do not put those guys in. What the hell?
You need shooting. You have shooters. Like, I don't know. You got to at least try something at some point, right?
Hey, there's no way what Kuminga's doing is so tantalizing. You can't give Buddy Hield some run. I do get what you're saying because he's been pretty rough during his minutes, but it's only an 8-point game right now. Let's just slowly change our reaction as Atlanta. I actually really like what Atlanta's doing. They're kind of building something right now.
Their bench has totally swung the game. Gabe Vincent and Mo Gay, Zachary Rizachet, what a game!
I don't think he's going to play.
Dylan, you got to talk off the Hawks. They're one of your picks for that wins draft.
I mean, look, you get late in the draft, you've got to pick someone. Let's not forget. You guys both. In fact, did we all take a team that is no longer that is not even in the playoffs?
No, but we did all fail to take a team that is in the playoffs, and that would be the Portland Trail Blazers.
Yep. Well, good for them for winning a playing game.
That's a score of 1. Nice job on that one.
Yeah. I have both the Clippers and the Heat because we did this like 3 weeks before the end of the season, and both of them have been eliminated. Aaron took the Charlotte Hornets. They have been eliminated. Dylan, aside from the fact that Houston sucks and Detroit is the only team to get upset, and the Hawks are probably going to lose, your team's looking solid.
Yeah, and I also like Detroit and Houston to play better than they have, so I'm feeling fairly good about my picks.
I'm gonna destroy you guys in this. I do want to talk about Charlotte very briefly, just in the sense that this team is so good. This is by net rating and SRS the best team to not make the playoffs ever of all time. That's astounding. Like to have this Hornets season. They're 5th in offensive rating, they're 12th in defense rating, they're 8th in net rating. This is a great team. In every other NBA season, they just make the playoffs. They were unable to make it. And like maybe this is one of the least painful Charlotte seasons, given how their franchise has gone. But man, just devastating to have like not even a playoff chance with a team that had really played so well. Don't add number 1, the best net rating. Even when the Suns won 48 games in 2014, the Warriors 48 in 2008, like those teams were kind of like an overachieving, middling net rating. This is the Hornets fucking crushing teams. They were great in the post All-Star break. Like they just couldn't get any ground. And I mean, I find that fascinating.
They had chances. And they got smoked by Orlando. Con completely fell apart. I wanted to ask you, Dylan, because I know I talked to Aaron into the flip for Rookie of the Year. Did you flip for Rookie of the Year by the time official ballots were due, which was the start of the playoffs?
So they're sneaky, and that's the start of the playoffs, not the start of the play-in.
Yes. I think it was like Friday night before the playoffs.
All right, do I want the guy that fell apart and wasn't able to play well in the play-in, or the guy that missed the play-in by 25 games?
Exactly.
No, I'll stick with Con.
I had flipped my vote weeks prior. I had given up on. Not that Con wasn't great. I think I like Flackmore as a prospect. I thought he was still great this season. He created a lot of his offense and was able to still like kind of carry that burden. I really do feel like if you flip those guys, Flack would have had a monstrous season because he's such a better defensive player on a playoff team.
Yeah, I think if you flip those players, the situations are different because Flag is the guy that you play around, and Khan was additive in every way to what Charlotte was doing. But the ball is not in his hands. 90% of his 3-pointers were assisted. That struggled more in the playoffs. If you're not getting his clean passes, you're not getting his clean looks, and you can kind of see he's a little bit more dependent. But I will say, Flag was better than Khan in basically everything other than scoring, but that doesn't mean Khan was bad at those things. And I feel like that doesn't get said enough, because they're like the debate is basically Khan or Flag, and you can say Flag is better than all those things. But like Khan contributed well defensively for large parts of the year. I know the play-in games aside, I think that's going to sour people a little bit for him till next year. But Khan moved the ball well, and Khan did play good defense. That's for most of the year.
Sure.
And he was so good at it that he actually got his team to the playing game.
He did it. LaMelo Ball did.
Where he was given the opportunity to collapse.
Did we talk about this before the pod or after the pod, or after we started recording? The fact that the Hornets need to win the lottery.
I don't think I was a part of that conversation.
Oh, well, if the lottery gods will smile, I think they should smile on Charlotte and give them Debanza.
As long as it's an Eastern Conference team, I'm fucking tired of West teams winning it.
I mean,
or my Kings.
Well,
it's not going to be the Kings because they lost the coin toss.
I know we got destroyed. I was so upset by that. Yeah, there's a coin flip with Utah, and they out-tanked us, but now we could fall down to 9, which is like the 9th pick after this season. Jesus.
Yeah. This is truly proof that proof for basketball atheism. There are no basketball gods. The Sacramento Kings, who tried to win games and just sucked so much that they couldn't, don't get the pick, while Utah, who had a really good roster and had to sit players out, fake injuries, pull players in the fourth quarter to just lose games, win the coin toss. It just goes to show the basketball gods are dead.
Wait.
I think Utah will fall to 8.
Here's the thing. Utah tactically had to make intelligent moves to fail. And the game that they got fined for pulling their stars and not putting them back in the fourth, they actually won that game. The 2 games that they got fines for were games they actually won. Whereas the Kings are paying Doug Christie $2 million a year because he's dumb enough to intentionally foul a guy. I don't know if
that made sense at the time. No one understood that concept. He needed to stop the clock because if any more time right now, he'd like lose a timeout or some bullshit.
Yeah,
which I didn't even really understand.
So incredible that the NBA investigated. They're like, "Oh my god, this guy's intentionally losing this game," and then the Kings like, "No, he legitimately thought that was a good idea. He just really dumb."
I was so mad
and
about
so it was
that.
like, "Oh Jesus, I'm so sorry."
I was so angry about that because the Kings were like the one team that actually sucked. Everyone else had to manufacture their shitty basketball. We actually sucked. We didn't tank it. We actually played our bad players. You're gonna talk about us about tanking? We had the 20th best record post All-Star break. Like we were winning games, like 8-15.
And you guys, where the Utah Jazz and the Memphis Grizzlies are starting two-way guys in order to lose, you played your two-way guys because they were actually better than the veterans.
That is true.
They helped you win.
Did we talk about every playoff series?
We still have the Nuggets Timberwolves, which is going to go on for game 2 later tonight.
Let's talk about it.
Still well before we post this. I wanted to ask this question. Who is the greatest disappearing act or greatest absence in game 1? Was it the loss of Joel Embiid? Was it the loss of Carmelo Anthony? Or was the fact that Julius Randle played minutes and had absolutely zero impact on the game the actual greatest disappearance?
Interesting. I do like the idea of bringing this back around to shit on Joel Embiid, but I did feel like Randall was bad. I think Randall is bad, but not their biggest problem. I think Ant looking kind of gimpy throughout the game was kind of their bigger issue. But yeah, Randall F- in terms of shot quality. I was stunned at some of the jumpers he was settling into with 15 seconds left in the shot clock.
Well, he's being guarded by elite stopper Cameron Johnson, who he just does not have any advantages over a guy who's neither fast nor strong in Cameron Johnson. He has a speed and a strength advantage and is taking contested pull-up mid-ranges. And then defensively, that's almost the bigger issue, where Minnesota are supposed to be this team who maybe has something for the Nuggets, because in previous years they were able to go with Cat on Jokic and have Gobert to still protect the rim, and they're still playing two bigs. They've got Randall to still play that style, and he just sucks so bad that they can't even do that. He's a worse defender than Karl Anthony Towns.
I just want to say it felt like Finch got outcoached, or he got in his own way tactically, time and time again. There was times where he was having Anthony Edwards chase Jamal Murray. Terrible. Like it burned through Anthony's energy reserves way too quickly. There was times where after Rudy Gobert had some good moments, there was the triple shot attempt by Jokic where he just kept throwing it into Gobert and got stopped. And then Gobert started the second quarter when Jokic was on the bench. And I was like, why are you not marrying them at the hips? Because sure enough, Jokic came in and he had to pull Gobert during those minutes. And it was just, it's like, cool. Now you've got Jokic going up against Nas. This is just bread and butter, easy.
Or even worse, Kyle Anderson.
Yeah, the third when
matched the minutes so badly they had Kyle Anderson out there.
Yeah,
against Jokic.
They cut to the bench and Nas and Gobert were sitting next to each other chatting, and I'm like, wait, they're what? Why is
it's like that it's like the that classic comedy sketch of like, wait, if Gobert's on the bench and Nas is on the bench, who's guarding Jokic? And Kyle Anderson's out there like
yeah. And then offensively, they had advantages. Gordon picked up 3 fouls early, and they never looked to go there. And when Gordon was out, Denver did not have a backline rim protector. And if you got Jokic involved in the action, Gobert was wide open, rolling down the lane. And this has been a thing with Minnesota for years, is that no one hits Gobert and no one wants to pass to Gobert, but he would be wide open just outside the restricted circle, and you could just lob it up. Like James Harden would have had 30 assists in that game. He would have broken Scott Skiles' record with just how many dunks he could have gotten on Rudy Gobert, and they never found them.
And that is one of the issues with the Timberwolves roster as well, is that they've sort of made improvements on talent, but they don't have any point guards. Like they had to play Mike Conley, who's totally washed. He shot 30% from the field in the regular season. Like he can't do anything on either end, and they had to play him. Bones, who was good in the regular season, lost all the trust.
I could not believe I saw both Mike Conley and Bones Hyland in a playoff game, especially against Denver, who's just mismatch hunting masters. I was floored by that. I will say I thought it was a great Gobert game. He ended up with 17 points and 10 rebounds. And in a different role, like we discussed, now he's face guarding Jokic. He's just one-on-one with him. And I think he did a pretty good job. Jokic had a fairly slow second half. And it's unfortunate that doing a really good job against Jokic usually means you just get eviscerated for 95% of the game. But I still feel like he had his moments. But I just left that game feeling that Minnesota played pretty well. But I feel like Denver had a really kind of bad game, just in the shooting sense. They shot 10 of 36 from the field, missed wide open threes all game long. This could have been a 35-point blowout with the way they were generating open looks, but weren't converting on them.
I mean, it was the second where Jamal Murray kind of took over and started to score well, but the first, definitely, Denver was really struggling to find the basket, struggling to generate any sort of cohesive offense. And I think that's really why some of these coaching mismatches and miscues stood out so much to me for Finch, is because Minnesota had the lead. Minnesota was up. We were in a couple of TikToker basketball chats where it was like, hey, is Minnesota actually gonna be able to pull this off? And the answer was no. But they looked like they could for a moment. Also, Dennis Schroeder just got whacked in the face on the last 3 plays. He's currently laying on the floor for Cleveland. But
the Hawks are only down by 1. Should we re-record real quick? I actually think I'm really impressed. Really impressed by what Atlanta's doing. Their bench, Corey Kispert's in. He's made a shot and he's +8.
Corey Kispert, you don't say.
A steal and a rebound. He's totally turned the tide. And I just feel like I really love what Atlanta's doing right now.
God, these guys. No. I say we wrap and then we go enjoy these games.
All right, guys.
Any final takes?
Nothing that can't age this podcast any worse than it already has been.
All right. Aaron, where can the people find you?
Possible Chairs on TikTok, Possible Chairs on Twitter, and this podcast every once in a while.
Dylan, where can the people find you?
Every week on this podcast. Also, the FBI opened a headquarters in New Zealand. I'm being summoned for my connection to Aaron Schroeder, so hopefully I'll be free by next week.
And to the new owner of the Portland Trailblazers, you can find me very easily. Just say I'm looking for Nate Schwartz. I'll come to you. For everyone else, email us at gmail.com. Love to hear from you.
Nate will pay for his own flight out.
Absolutely.